On behalf of us across the street, myself, Rabbi Greg Harris, Chazan Asa Fradkin, I want to thank you all. Thank you to Reverend Dr. Hero Park, Reverend Dr. Shaw Brewer, Chris Warrington of Bethesda United for hosting this beautiful Thanksgiving service. It is so good to be here with our neighbors, Imam Rafai Arafin of the Islamic Community Center of Potomac, Ibrahim Anli of the Rumi Forum, and Reverend Dr. J. Moses of St. Mark Presbyterian Church. In thinking about what to share tonight, I've been remembering a familiar story about our shared ancestor, Abraham. One hot day in the desert, Abraham is feeling weak and unwell. Understandably so, as he's recovering from his circumcision. That's all I have to say. But instead of focusing on his own rest and recovery, as many of us would, he sits outside his tent, hoping for the chance to help a stranger who might wander by, hoping for the chance to take care of someone else. I imagine him futzing with his bandages and gazing across the desert skyline with squinted eyes. After a while, disappointed that no one has come by, and still ailing, God intervenes, dispatching 3 angels to appear as travelers in need of help. According to the Hebrew Bible, Abraham ran. He did not walk, he ran from the entrance of his tent to greet them, bowing to the ground and begging them, "Let a little water be brought, bathe your feet, recline under the tree, let me fetch a morsel of bread." He took curds and milk and the calf that had been prepared and set these before them. And he waited on them under the tree as they ate. We all share this core value of Abraham's radical hospitality. Each of our traditions knows the holiness of a shared meal. At a Shabbat dinner table, we bless the wine and the bread. At a church, the wine and bread represent grace and God's presence. At an iftar table, the first date and sip of water restore life after fasting during Ramadan. For all of us, a shared table is not just a place for food, it's a place for connection and belonging. It is quite simply a place for God. In our Jewish midrashic tradition, God actually goes down to visit Abraham first, before the 3 angels arrive. Why does God go down first? According to a Jewish story from the 9th century, retold by my colleague, Rabbi Sharon Brous in Los Angeles, God instructs the 3 angels to visit and bring comfort to Abraham after his surgery, but at first, they don't want to go. It's too hot, they argue. That place is too dirty for angels like us. But God is clear. It is precisely the most uncomfortable, the loneliest, and the scariest places that demand our presence. If you won't go, God says, I'll do it myself. And that's why we read in Genesis 18, verse 1, that God appeared to Abraham by the terebinths of Mamre. God shows up first before the 3 angels. Rabbi Sharon Brous explains that the angels were right, that it was unpleasant down in the desert. And yet that's where we find God, right by Abraham's side, in this place of so much pain. And what about us? We're expected to mirror God's compassion by walking in the ways of the Holy One. To be religious doesn't mean to pray vigorously and sing praises to God. It means to emulate God by manifesting divine attributes in our behavior every day. Just as God clothed the naked and visited the sick and consoled mourners and buried the dead, so too we must clothe and visit and console and bury. I know that each of our communities works to translate this high ideal into our regular lives, to follow God's model as best we can. Just as Abraham shared his home and Abraham shared his table. And I want to acknowledge, this part is harder, that many of us come to our table tonight carrying fear or anger or sorrow. I know that the 1,000-year-old ties between us have been sometimes pulled taut by the weight of the past years of strife. The world has felt more divided by hatred, the atmosphere more challenged by politics, and our hearts more burdened by anxiety. And this is precisely the moment when we need to show up, as we all have tonight, to sit beside each other in song and prayer, to listen, to learn, and to be in each other's presence. For we are all created in the image of God, B'Tselem Elohim, and we must all work to always recognize that divine spark in the other. Just like at Abraham's shared table, we too follow God's way of care, God's way of service, God's way of respect and love. This Thanksgiving, may we not only continue on that sacred path, but also expand the space at our tables, literally and metaphorically. Listen to a perspective that clashes with our own. Listen longer than it even feels comfortable. Offer each other water, bread, and understanding. Because as we know, a shared meal can become the foundation for so much more. Tonight, we're joining together to collect food for the hungry, who we hope will find an overflowing abundance just outside at the little free food pantry. We have over the years supported each other during times of difficulty. I recall when we were targets of anti-Semitic vandalism on Old Georgetown, and Rabbi Harris gathered a local interfaith group, including many of you, where we committed to show up for another. We've studied together in interfaith learning. I remember fondly the class, Women in the Bible, that I got to teach alongside Dr. Shaw Brewer last winter, and we will again one day. Our youth have visited each other's congregations, and we actually just made plans for another visit in April. And God willing, there are more joint projects ahead with all of our neighbors who are here tonight. Because a shared table is only a start. What we do after tonight matters. So let us recommit that we will speak up and stand up for each other. And I invite us to do more than respond when we hear that one of us needs help. Because, well, did Abraham wait until the three strangers asked for help? No, he sat at the entrance to his tent, searching for a way to be of service. And I really believe that we have inherited his determination. We can do more. Misha Berach Avotenu, may the one who blessed our ancestors bless us to inherit that spark, that light, that nudge that was inside of Abraham, that called him to so insistently hope for connection, to run to take care of the 3 strangers and to offer them his shared table with his whole heart. May we always see God's presence in each other and between us. May our gratitude this season enliven us to continue to build relationships of mutual trust and love. And may there be peace in our communities and in the world. Thanksgiving blessings to all of you.